This is Rich with another episode of BrokenBox TV. We're here with Andres Fresko, the one and only. Mr. Fresko, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you guys for having me on the show.
Well, we want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak with you. First of all, we would just want to basically know a little bit about yourself. You know, where you're from, how'd you get here, how'd you get to Miami, and how'd you got involved with music in the first place?
Well, I've been involved with music, my whole life. My parents, listen to disco and freestyle and stuff like that. And, the story of how I got to South Beach, and this is a true story. I moved to South Beach with $18 in my pocket, not really knowing what was going to happen, but, I was very concerned in the sense that I wanted to progress in my career, and I felt like if you want to progress in Miami, you have to move to South Beach. And that's when I came here and I started working for the Opium Group. Luckily they picked me up and they gave me an opportunity to be seen and to play in their clubs, which, the Opium Group does have some of the best clubs in Miami. And then from there, I started picking up stuff, out of city. Then we started playing, out of state. Then we started playing, overseas, and, everything started to pan out and work out for me, in the music.
How did you get involved with Opium Group initially? Being from Miami, I know that they're probably the biggest, club group and events group in the city. How was it that you got involved with them? How did that come about?
Well, my manager, Daniel Mon, he's one of the top promoters for the Opium Group, and, just any advice that I give to anybody else is to never quit, to never stop. You basically have to knock on that door consistently. These guys have, emails from thousands and, hundreds of DJs and stuff like that, and, you just got to keep on and keep on. And, I asked them, I said, can I spin for you guys? And they said no. So I asked again. And I asked again and again and again and again until finally they gave me an opportunity. I actually opened at Mokai one night. And then from there I started, building up, a little bit of respect with them until they started letting me headline. And, coming from where I was 8 months ago to today, I'm playing at Mansion. And right now it's one of the best clubs in all of Miami.
It's always been, one of the best clubs. So congratulations on that, number one. I wanted to talk to you also a little bit about, you were telling me how your parents introduced you to disco and freestyle music. How do you feel that freestyle and disco has helped develop house music and dance music? And how do you feel like you can take what you learned as a child and apply it to what you do now as a dance and house music DJ? Well,
history repeats itself. In the world of today, it's very difficult to be original because everything has been done already. But, when you listen to disco and when you listen to freestyle and old music, even classical music, you hear certain synths or certain claps or certain kicks that you still hear in music of today. And what I do for myself to kind of bring the old into the new is, I listen to a lot of the old stuff and I kind of try to remake it into something new. And, house music has been around now for almost, 2 decades. It's not very new. And, you just got to measure to where you can take something and make it your own. And that's what a lot of people make the mistake today of thinking that, when they do something, it's fresh and new. But, what they need to understand is that when you go to the past and you hear music, I feel like you got to turn off your mind and open your heart. Because when you do these things, you tend to find certain sounds and certain things that trigger a crowd. And, when you make music and when you play music, it's not about yourself, but it's about pleasing everybody else.
A lot of times, Miami, I feel, doesn't get the credit it deserves with respect to music. I know a lot of, great international DJs come to Miami, especially for WMC, Ultra, Masquerade Motel, things of that nature. But from, I guess, a purely local standpoint, Miami DJs don't get like the play that maybe DJs from Ibiza or other places get. How do you feel that affects you as a DJ, and how do you feel like you can create that exposure for yourself?
Well, at the end of the day, you are your own person and you have to create your own path. And I feel that when you're given the opportunity to showcase yourself, Miami is very important because, in my opinion, it's one of the centerpieces of the whole world in music. You can go to Japan, you can go to Thailand, you can go to Australia, you can go wherever you want, and everyone will tell you, wow, you're from Miami. And I feel like if you have a good enough resume and a good, standpoint in Miami, you can pretty much do it anywhere else. And it's not so much about artists in general not getting the play from Miami. It's, a lot of people get lazy, and they feel like just because they're doing something right in Miami, that doesn't mean that nobody knows about you in Chicago or LA or in any other place. So it's up to you as an artist to get yourself out to these people and to these other cities. The same way you do it here, you have to, break the roof of the barrier, which is Miami, and you have to get yourself to other places.
You were explaining how you've been able to go on tour or play at different clubs out of state, out of the city. What other places do you feel have the kind of energy for the dance music that Miami has, and what's your other favorite places to play at?
Well, I would say that there's not a lot of places like Miami, but if I have to say what the best place is, I would say the Dominican Republic. And the reason I choose the Dominican Republic is because when you play in Miami, you do have your tourists and you do have your certain people that are not from Miami, but when you play in the Dominican, it's all tourists. If you're playing for 1,500 people, you could have 300 people that are from Russia, 300 people from China, 200 people from Mexico. So that's how you really get to branch out and you get to spread your name throughout the rest of the world. And I really like it because, like I said, it's very tourist-based. And at the end of the day, you want to get yourself out of where you live and where you're from, and you want to, put your name in other places. And when you play in certain places like Dominican, you have that opportunity.
Great. And finally, I wanted to ask you about where it is that you decided to become, or not where it is, but when it is that you decided to become a DJ, why you decided to become a DJ, and how you feel that it has changed your life, not only musically, but as a person and as an individual.
Well, I've been doing this. I'm 24 now. I've been doing this since I was 18. And the truth is that, I feel like I'm a certain person during the day like everybody else, walking down the street or whatever. But when I start to DJ, I feel like that's who I am. And there's no other place that I feel comfortable, that I feel safe, that I feel like I can really, put myself out there and be at a certain happiness like I am when I'm playing. And why I DJ and why I produce is because I feel like when you produce a track, you can live forever. And, when you DJ, you have the power to pretty much control an entire room of people that come to be happy, to be satisfied, and, to dance and to have a good time. And I like to do that because I feel like you're like the anchor of a ship. And when you're traveling on this ship, me as the captain, I have to make sure that it goes to the right place.
Finally, where can the people find some more information about you? Where can they expect to see you play? And Facebook, Twitter, just go ahead and let us know where they can find you.
Right now you can check the website, which is www.itsfresco.com. We're currently under maintenance right now. It should be done within a few weeks. Twitter @AndresFresco. If you go to Google and just type Andres Fresco, I'm the only thing that comes up. It's really simple to find me. But if you're asking me what is in plan for the future, I have a lot of tracks that I'm going to release on Beatport and iTunes and continue to work hard because, it doesn't stop here. When you feel like things are the best, that's when you have to work the hardest. And that's a mistake that some people make, when they're at a certain comfortability, they tend to slow down with your intensity. And, right now there's more DJs every day, every day, and every day you wake up and there's 1,000 more DJs and 1,000 more producers. It's just like I said, you have to keep your intensity high and you have to work hard to get to that point where you can differentiate yourself from everybody else.
Well, again, Mr. Fresko, thank you for having us.
No, thank you, man.
And remember, you can check them out. It's Fresko.com. This is BrokenBox TV.